have to call the meeting?
I always see her pictures of them, I kind of got them.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, is there any motions for moderator? Anybody want to nominate a moderator?
I'd like to nominate Boaz Erickson, please.
I'll second that.
If there's a collaboration there.
I think it's a lot. I really do.
Anybody else?
I'd have seconded that too.
Is there anybody else? Any other nominations? Okay, was, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, say no.
No. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to everyone to our township annual meeting. It's a privilege here to be in this township. The personal word that I think this township is well run, a lot of good things happening here. And it's the opportunity for the electorate, all of us, to be involved in what's happening here. In this meeting, there is no supervisors, as you see, everybody is amongst the crowd. Everybody has a say, everybody's equal. And so this is your time to say what you want to say, or any suggestions or whatever. But we have a series of things we have to go through. And so the first thing we want to do is a motion to approve the annual, did everybody get an agenda? If not, I don't know if there's any more in the back yet. Any questions about the agenda? Did everybody get one?
Yes, I haven't.
Huh?
Oh, I got one.
Okay, everybody got one? Okay, so the motion is to approve the agenda. If you have any question or anything, now's the time to ask.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so the next motion of business, number 4, is called for motion to dispense the reading of the annual meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, call the motion to approve the 2025 annual meeting minutes.
So moved, sorry.
Second.
Second.
Second, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, okay. So, part of that, okay, so now we're gonna go to the treasurer, to the board of audit, right? And our treasurer is Ms. Kelly, and she's gonna take it from here.
So I am with the Board of Audit. The board does do an annual audit of the books for the treasurer. And with that part of it, they go through and select 3 receipts, 3 disbursements and stuff like that, and check it against my records. So they do each month check all the receipts and statements and stuff like that against, for what is being approved by the board for payments and stuff that way, for payroll and all that also. So it is checked every month, but then we do this annually, that they will pull out the receipts and select different ones for just to be audited, make sure I have all that stuff on documentation and stuff for you as we are spending the community's money. So with that, I would just ask that there is a motion to waive the reading of all checks written and received, and read just a synopsis of that,
So moved.
instead of sitting here and reading out every single one of those checks and everything for you.
Glenn, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Who was the second? What is your name? You seconded it?
This one.
Patrick, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna ask everybody if you're gonna second or make a motion that you give your name and address, if you could, please, because it's being recorded for the minutes for, all right?
Yeah, that's 25022 165th Street on Lake Camp.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
And with the, so the cash receipts are also checked off with Sherburne County. They will, for any funds that are being sent in, we do verify that at the year end and stuff too, so that that is something that is verified that what we've got receipted in also matches what Sherburne County and state payments are directly deposited. And also with the clerk, Shelley and I, we also balance our books and stuff against each other so that her records match mine for her receipts and what she has receipted in. When we get the receipts or any invoices and stuff like that, we both keep track and record, and they verify against what my reports say for the treasurer. And so with this, this is our financial report. So this kind of shows you the funds and what we have at the beginning of the year and what we ended the year in for our different funds. And so with this one, you can see our general fund, we began 2025 with $283,194.47. Ended that at the end of the year with $358,975.84. The road and bridge fund, we started out with $1,354,908.59. And we ended that with $1,731,277.26. The fire fund shows you the beginning balance of $134,174.12. And we ended the year with $141,128.90. And so those are our main funds that we use, and so the rest of them are all listed there too. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know, but otherwise, would you like me to continue reading off the exact numbers, let me know, but they are there.
On the bulletin board.
Yep,
Also out there.
oh, and the entryway and stuff. So. And then these slides here are by each of the object codes, so it's kind of broken down a little bit more by each of the individual funds and what we're spending on it. So whether it's, the supplies, our postage, anything that we've, mailed out, any of those communications, it kind of goes through those different funds and kind of broken down a little bit more on these reports here. And that goes from each one of the funds, so it goes from your general, your road and bridge, your any capital improvements, the fire fund, all that kind of stuff, and how we've been spending that, broken down by the object codes.
That's just the memo thing that you know how to do the audit. No.
But otherwise, this one here is just with following the statute regarding our receipts and disbursements and stuff, that way that we are following to make sure that we are recording and following what the state and stuff is requiring.
And all this material will be in our website.
Yes.
For people.
So, and maybe you're getting this, I'm just jumping the gun here, but from the auditor examination, were there any findings?
No, but we will go through that here shortly, but otherwise, no, at this time, we did not have anything.
Yeah, just this, or that's, you don't get sent to the CPO.
No, this is the Board of Audit.
Yeah. And so with the Board of Audit, the treasurer, as myself, I perform the bank reconciliation monthly. The board reviews and audits all the receipts, disbursements, and the bank statements each month. I also print out a report of the receipts within our CTAS program. And then the clerk, Shelley Erickson, here confirms that the receipts that I have put in match those receipts that she has record, along with any received reports from the county of all payments made to the town and those agencies of any that we've paid, that those payments and stuff also match against the town's accounting C-test program, along with Minnesota management and budget have all matched. And the Board of Audit from the registrars, the board chooses 3 random receipts and disbursements to review individually on the receipts register or disbursements register and on the bank statement. And we did that last month, so in February. And the 3 receipts that they had chosen were those that are listed there. And all 3 were verified to be accurate. And the board had also chosen those 3 disbursements to review, so the receipts and the disbursements. And all 3, under both categories, have been verified to be accurate. And then the board reviewed the 2025 receipts and disbursements registers and confirmed that the 12/31/2025 cash balances matched with the reports and what we've got recorded. And then with our external audit, we do have Leonard Wenner and company perform the audit for Orrock and our financial statements. And so with that, we've prepared the auditing firm report that the audit went smoothly. They had a positive working relationship with management and noted nothing unusual was noted in terms of recorded transactions or accounting policies and treatment. And they prepared the 2024 financial statements on behalf of the township.
These are some of the slides that they used when they were, this was the audit process, and they use this for their report.
And they do come in and report that also at one of our meetings, and comes back with all their findings and stuff like that. Anybody see that at one of our meetings, that the auditors do come in and explain that more to you too. So that's where it's just required communications. The audit went smoothly, positive working relationship with all of us, nothing unusual noted in terms of recorded transactions or accounting policies or treatments. And those are the overall audit adjustments. Proposed audit adjustments that we consider to be material. The township has elected not to adopt GASB statement number 68 and 71, and has elected not to record capital assets. Our township has a lack of proper segregation of duties, which is very common for township of our size. In the financial statement preparation, we have prepared the financial statements on behalf of the township. And those are their findings and reports back. Minnesota legal compliance, areas reviewed, contracting and bidding, depositories of public funds, conflicts of interest, claims and disbursements, miscellaneous provisions, findings, deposits in excess of insured limits.
That was the audit. Anybody have any questions about that 2024 audit?
So this is the overview of 2025 overview of Orrock Township. The estimated population you can see is 3868 based on 2.5 people per residence. There's 14 new homes permits were issued in 2025. Total value, the tax assessed value being $3,925,000. Then they give your tax valuation capacity, kind of figure out how much or what your receipts can be from the state, what your expenses are based on the taxable value, market value of your residence. And that's what Orrock is, $673 million. That's the rough estimate capital. And there's just a little bit of an overview of the residential areas that have been built up. The shores of Eagle Lake. 9 building permits were issued in 25. I think they're they're pretty well close to being maxed out, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty well fully built. There might be just a couple more lots over there. Pine Crest, that's up on the hill there. I think they also reached capacity, haven't they? Pretty close. Yeah, you know? I don't know if they have it. That's the one on the west side. Recycle day. Recycling is coming up, because there was a flyer too about that. There was 50 Orrock Township residents participated, about 26% of the total participants in the recycle day. That takes place down at Big Lake. Well,
This was for last year. This was from last year.
this is the overview of last year.
That was, it voted in last year.
This is what was voted by the body last year. The budget was $1,125,000. There was zero increase over in 2025. The road and bridge was $875,000 budget. Fire protection was $140,000. And the general fund was, and that's the day-to-day operation of the town. It's whatever it is, the electric and the salaries to whatever, that's what that is. And then the capital is basically any maintenance or things that we have to do on the property that belongs to the township. This is the fire report. As a lot of people maybe don't know, but Orrock Township split between two fire departments. We have the Big Lake Fire Department takes care of the yellow sections down there, bottom left hand of the map, and the blue boxes, that's taken care of by Zimmerman Fire Department. Obviously, if there's anything that they need assistance, they call the other department to kind of back them up. And then here's the statistics of what went on in 25. They had 38 total calls for service. Big Lake Fire Department had 22 of those. So that's 22 out of the 59 calls. Zimmerman had 16 of 62 total. Oh, those are total calls of that station. 16, huh?
Yeah.
So they had a total of 62 calls. An example, Zimmerman, 16 of them belonged to Orrock. We're from Orrock Township. The Big Lake Fire Department has a part-time fire chief, Seth Hansen. The Zimmerman Livonia has a full-time fire chief, Livonia. Ryan Owen. So basically because of the growth of this area, there's requirement, there's need for more equipment. And I don't know if you've all seen, but like Big Lake, they went out and bought a ladder truck. And there's a couple other things that are planned. They need a bush truck, a bush fire truck. So there's some expenses and the things that they're expecting could affect all of us in this upcoming. And it says here then both Orrock Township fire service contracts are based on percentage of Orrock Township's tax base. Both the contract rates are based on percentage of each government entity's share of the net tax capacity and fire calls, and then applied to the previous approved fire budget. The entities are charged on their percentage of the total budget. This year, Orrock's share was 11.2% of the Zimmerman. Is that the Zimmerman?
Zimmerman was the fire department.
Yeah. Of their budget was $544,000. 8.69 was the Big Lake Fire budget, or that was their portion of $533,000. Then they got a depreciation amount in there. Actual billing for the Big Lake Fire Department for 2026 fiscal year is $67,844 due. There was a calculating error they claimed, so there's going to be a little bit more of a charge from Big Lake this year. According to them, they're claiming that the bill should have been $90,000 and we got charged $67,000, so there's a little bit of a discrepancy there. So you're gonna see that a little bit down the line, where our fire budget actually has gone up a bit. Yeah, they're expecting a lot of new contracts, so the contracts are in the fall, aren't they, Paul, typically, the fire contracts?
We hope to be discussing the contract in the fall, yes.
So, so they're expecting, Big Lake Township's informed, the Big Lake is actually informed our township that there'll probably be an increase because of that. And that's gonna affect our fire levy. And for this year, actually, they took some from their fire fund reserve. Our township has been quite good about that, make sure they have enough ahead in case, so we don't have these massive fluctuations in our budget requirements.
Dalton here?
Yeah, Dalton made it. You just got here.
You want to talk about the hamlet?
Yeah, I can talk about the hamlet. So right now, the county is going through okay.
Which group? Dalton is our representative on the planning and zoning at the county.
So right now, the county is going through a refresh of their comprehensive plan, so they do it every 15, 20 years. And one of the questions was about hamlets. So we have a hamlet as well as two of the other townships. And everyone was kind of realizing, hey, these hamlets are a bit different than the rest of the zoning because they are intended for multi-use. So they're trying to use each of our opinions on the hamlet for each of the three townships rather than doing an overall overarching view for that. So it's going to be a little specialized. What was that? Oh, the hamlet is a specialized multi-use zoning area. So instead of being just residential or just general rural, it is kind of a combination of residential and of business, and it can also include light industrial in there.
So our hamlet is the Sanding Stop Getaway Bar, that's the area of the hamlet.
Plus some of the farming areas.
The farming areas
around.
that are adjacent.
So right now, we only have 4 businesses in there and some of the residential areas around there, but there are open areas on top of that that are actually considered part of the hamlet.
And so does the township own that land, or are you gonna buy it?
No, we don't own it, it's considered different zoning. So we were asked, do we want to zone it differently, do we want certain regulations on that to kind of prohibit? Where some were trying to get multifamily units in there, especially for elderly, to get like townhouses and things like that. So people can kind of retire out of their larger homes and get into single level living houses. So that was something that we had kind of opined on, that's not necessarily what we're looking into, is trying to get multifamily. But we did not propose a actual ordinance to go against it. It's something that if it were proposed in the future, we would have the ability to opine on and give our opinion in what we would want. And that does look like the actual map of the hamlet. So you can see towards the left third of the page, and about halfway up, those smaller squares, that is the businesses that are part of the hamlet. And then you'll see quite a few larger areas that would be open if those residents did sell. They would be
Greg,
part of
can
that.
you show the, say, County Road 5 and County Road 4 so people could orient themselves?
Yeah, so, just the borders, yeah, so, those standing in front of it. So, yeah, this is 4 up here, this is just the border of the hamlet zone. It's not, that's not roads. So this dark red is the actual road, right? I got my marker right here?
That's 5, yeah.
That's 5, and then 4 up on top. So, all this stuff comes into the area that is considered the hamlet, you know, and in the last comprehensive plan, the county created 2 new zoning areas, hamlet and shoreline district. And this is just the idea that you would have something that you could have more multi-purpose use in there, right? You could have, like, say, maybe, one that just popped in my head the other day is like a commercial childcare center could be put in here, right? We don't have those out here, but childcare is a big issue, and there's other communities that have come up with creative ways to fund these type of activities. So that would be something you could put here that would be centrally located in your township, but it wouldn't fit, it's not gonna fit in your neighborhood, it's not gonna fit in 2.5 acres, it's not gonna fit in a 5-acre neighborhood. But it could be put in your hamlet, which also has your other commercial activities, you know? We already have the bar, the restaurant, the gas station, you have a commercial construction company down around the corner, you know, there's some group homes inside the hamlet. So all this kind of stuff could be, there's just other things you could put in there. The big thing is figuring out what the people who live here want to be in their hamlet.
Yeah, the township actually has a lot to say about has a lot of input on what they want to see in their areas.
Nobody's trying to shove anything down your throat.
So that's what this is all about. Planning and zoning, they say, okay, they come to the township, what do you guys want? What do you see? This is one of the ideas that came up with, like duplexes or something like that.
Some of the other townships decided like they wanted to split the hamlet like north, south, east, west, and actually try to keep residential on one side and commercial on the other. We chose not to do that. We chose to take it as it comes, evaluate each idea as it's actually presented to us if they come up. Obviously, this is something that allows a little more flexibility, but that doesn't mean that there are automatically group homes coming here or childcare centers or anything else. As of now, there's nothing that's being kind of presented to us. It just presents the option that we're looking up.
And like it says on there, you know, maybe even put in sidewalks. It'd be crazy out here, you know.
Are there any questions about it?
I have a question. So what's the target date for this hamlet being?
Next year, they're going to add in the hamlet and then also add in the shoreline residential as 2 different zones.
So next
It's not to
year,
build it, it's to allow it in the zoning.
It's just allowed for the
That's-
So
zoning.
that somebody, could be 20 years, this is
oh,
there.
gotcha,
Yep.
okay.
Nobody's gonna build, nobody's actually got a plan to do this right
Yep.
now. It's
So
just,
if those homes don't sell, nothing's going to change.
Is there anybody here who currently lives in the proposed hamlet? Okay. Because right now we do, we have a couple group homes that
Yep.
are already in there, and the businesses that are right up next to the getaway, the auto shop, those kinds of things.
And for example, that's one reason they're allowed to be a little bit closer to the road is because they are in the hamlet.
In a hamlet. Does anybody have any thoughts on that? What would you want, what would you not want?
I guess the question would be, does the hamlet exist today? Because again, the businesses, DJ's Play, I mean, those all exist today. Or is this, you said something's happening in a year. I guess I don't understand what's changing in a year.
Zoning.
Is it a hamlet today?
Hamlets exist in the comprehensive plan that was passed.
Yes, it
But the
does.
final zoning determination for the hamlets hasn't been done, right? So it was put into the comprehensive plan as existing, the areas were mapped, but now this phase 2 of it is to figure out what do you want to put into it. I mean, like Santiago is a hamlet, right, under the new regulations. And they've got a lot of empty buildings and a lot of commercial potential space in that. So they're gonna give them more latitude to rebuild those things and renew that particular area, right? And here, for Orrock Township, it's gonna be, what do we wanna regulate to build new in there? You know, and that's what they're trying to determine here is, what do people really wanna see in these hamlets, you know?
Some of the questions that came up to us as the board was, that, you know, modifying the easements, because everybody's general rule, which are very different. In a hamlet, we would modify them to look more like city easements, to allow closer. Do we want duplexes? Do we want to allow story buildings? Do we want to allow, you know, patio townhomes? Do we want, what do we want? All those kind of questions were put out there for us to discuss.
Do you wanna have a 200-unit apartment?
Apartment complex, do you not want to have that?
It seems like it would be difficult to build. And the septic requirements would be very, very difficult, it would take up a lot of land. And I don't think anybody would want that in the township necessarily. So when you say multifamily, it's more like, we're thinking more like townhomes or quad homes perhaps. You know. But that's up to,
That's up to this right
that's
here.
what, this is the time you guys can
up
express
to
your
the-
opinion on this.
So again, just to clarify, it is a hamlet today, but the rules are changing of what a hamlet can do.
And we get to decide what the rules are.
Okay.
Are they gonna allow you to keep it case by case? As
So-
you're presenting it?
Yeah, so if someone came up here and proposed a 20-unit townhouse, it could still, or apartment complex, it could still be shot
Yeah.
at that time.
It still has to go through
I
the
agree.
process of approvals.
Correct.
And
Right.
the township that said we don't want that.
It's whereas it was proposed, like, do we want an ordinance that completely blocks it so it wouldn't even be allowed to? It wouldn't even be an option.
Case by case, sounds like a great idea.
And so what does the process of approval look like at that point? Do you get input from the township, or is this like the only time we provide it?
It would come to us first, and if we give approval, then it goes to the county to actually give the final say on it. So everyone here would be allowed to speak during public forum, obviously, give their opinion on that. And then I think it's up to the board to follow up there on.
But the question is, would we bring it back to this body and say, hey, do you guys want an apartment complex? No. It would have to be at our meeting
At the week, or the monthly meeting,
that
yes.
we are discussing.
The township does not write the law or the guidance. That is done by the county. They're asking for our advice of what we would want in this given policy, okay? And then, once the policy is reviewed and written and approved by the county commissioners, then that goes in. And that's what takes care of the planning and zoning, you can make the decisions. But it also then comes back to the township for their opinion of the interpretation of what's gonna happen. And the township board will either say, yes, we agree with that, no, we don't, or whatever, but it is the county planning and zoning that will make the final decision on it.
What is incredibly
Township does not.
unique about this, and Dalton was very good about sharing this with us, was that this is one of the few times that Sherburne County is going to tell us, we will do what you want in your township, right? So we do have some, other times the comp plan comes and it's like, okay, well, everybody, general rule is gonna be this, and it is what it is, whether we like it or not. This situation, this board that's been working together, that he's been on, working with the comp plan and working with planning and zoning, we're very clear that inside the townships where there's gonna be more density potentially of population in these zones, they're truly hands-off in allowing us to make those choices. This is a once-in-a-lifetime deal, because it doesn't happen.
And it's the one case where it's not the entire townships are governed by the same law. This is the one case where each of the three townships, so us, Palmer, and San
Will be
Diego,
different,
can be different.
can be different.
So,
So
as I mentioned,
this-
like,
we own
Palmer
them.
purposely wants houses there, they want some of these patio homes, so some of the elderly can move into those. But they also have a lot more infrastructure in terms of grocery store, hardware store, things like that. So it's a walkable thing for those residents. So it could go the opposite way. We have chosen not at this time to put a specific ordinance blocking it. But that's something for you guys, if you're saying, no, we don't agree with that, now's your best chance. Obviously, we will still do it case by case to hear the comments and everything, but now is your one chance to fully opine on the actual comprehensive plan.
Steve?
I have a little bit of a hard time hearing you, but you're saying now is the time to bring this up if,
If we want it for like an ordinance, because now is when they're actually changing the comprehensive plan itself.
okay.
So you would still have a chance, say, a year or two from now, if an apartment complex was coming in, you could still come and voice your disapproval or approval for it at that time. But now's the chance to get, if you wanted an ordinance to actually block.
Well,
If you wanted to block,
I for one would not want multi-story, high-density buildings such as a large, in this area.
That's, okay, so, this is a good opportunity, what's that?
We can just have a little discussion and then.
We can discuss it, and we can even go and make a motion that we instruct the township, the board not to allow multi-story or. Huh? Yeah,
I
go ahead.
agree with what Steve said. I don't want a high-rise apartment buildings. We moved to this area because it was in the country. This is the lifestyle that I want. I enjoy the birds and the animals that are outdoors. And you don't have the hustle and bustle that you have in cities. That's not for me. And I would like this to stay as it is, without the big buildings.
Could we get your name, please, and address?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Well, then I want to ask your name too, because I didn't get it in the beginning.
Mine,
Yes.
Boaz.
What?
Boaz.
Boaz.
Boaz
Yes.
Erickson.
Okay, thank you.
He's my husband.
Okay, listen to me. Okay. My name is Carol Spaginski, and I live on Henley. Thank you.
Any other gentlemen?
Let's see.
That's the.
So along with this, like when we're talking about the residential build, or the apartments and all that, would it be, the same thing where we could talk about our new ordinance and make a proposal for large businesses too, if that's something that we wanna try and avoid?
Now it's that's something
Yeah.
more voice. So one thing I will say to your point, I did notice during the meeting
What's it?
was, hey, we have so much wildlife area, which is a big mistake.
Yeah,
We think wildlife refuge. People come here specifically for wildlife, they don't want to come here for an apartment. So I did voice that during this hearing.
If you could, put it in, consider tax bill for the town.
Or large businesses, or, I don't know what's considered large or small, or.
I mean, one of the proposals you could see there was like duplexes. Maybe somebody wants a duplex, they can have a, you know, maybe their family with them or something. And this is the time to express their opinion on it.
So that Greg Felder, that would be one of the things you could decide now. Do we not want anything larger than a duplex? Do we want to limit it to say, I mean, a functional level for a duplex would be like, say, 3 stories, right? You know, depending upon if they're building something that looks a little more Cape Coddish or something like that. You know, is it are you gonna say 2 stories, 3 stories? Are you gonna say duplexes only, you're gonna say quad homes, right? I mean, this is where you could literally limit it to that, or you could say, we're just not going to allow any multifamily housing above, say, 3 stories, right? Which would eliminate the apartment buildings, but would allow any of the other configurations that we see for multifamily housing out there could be allowed under your ordinance. But that's what we wanna pick. What do you want Orrock to look like 20 years from now, 25 years from now? I mean,
In the hamlet.
in the hamlet, right? So that would be, and obviously that would trigger some of the other development around here. If there's more available in the hamlet, then that might trigger more, I mean, it would certainly make it more attractive for somebody to build another development right behind it. It would increase the value of their land if there was immediate access to these type of amenities inside of the hamlet, right? So you could build a small city in Orrock, if that's what you wanted. Or you could say, no, I want to have cornfields. I mean, and that's what we're doing, right? I like cornfields.
I like
That's me.
Any other
So
comments?
I do have my opinions on it too, and I don't want to steer people towards that. Does anybody have differing opinions? I want to make sure you guys are heard too, if there's differing opinions on trying to limit things.
I have a question. So what have you guys as the township board thought or proposed for this hamlet? Anything?
We have differing opinions, quite honestly.
Yeah.
It was across the board. Some of us were very much aligned with we moved out here for a certain reason and we want to keep that reason. Some of us were more of, well, you know, we're not too far from maybe living in those duplexes, so maybe that might be what I want to be, so I can be in the neighborhood. And some of us were like, not sure I'm gonna think about it.
No.
So, what,
There was one too, the comment was just let it be free market. Whatever happens, happens.
yeah, and
That's-
we had
that's one of the
a
things,
free
so-
market. So I think we were across the board, we all had a different
So
opinion.
no decisions have been made?
No,
about what's
that's why
going
no
in?
We're
decision has
here.
been
Are
made.
you talking about that flea market that's every weekend in the summer when you get on to?
No, we meant
Right.
free market, meaning that whatever.
Free market.
No,
We already got a flea market.
We got a
down there.
flea market.
Yeah.
In the hamlet. Well, it's not quite in the hamlet.
Not, I think it's
Not
just
quite in
outside.
the hamlet, actually.
Just south, yeah, just
Uh,
south.
So that was just at our last month's
They have all
meeting.
sorts of tents and stuff
So
out
we're here. What do you want? What do you want us to keep in our minds as we start to make these decisions?
It's our township.
Well, one of the big things I think, Ted Chuda, in Timberquest, I don't think anybody here wants a high-rise. I mean, plain and simple, I think we can pretty much all agree on that.
What's a high rise?
Anything over three stories.
Okay.
Any
You wanna
other
make a
comments?
motion to that? I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm used to just running it. Go
Got
ahead.
some more comments.
Zero over up at 250 west. Whatever I have to realize, even if they propose that, they'll never do a high rise, they'll never do any of that stuff, because A, there's not enough land for cities or sewer. They're outlawed, the shared septics now, so you can't do that in Minnesota, so virtually anything over, they can't get the zoning for the drain field and septic and all that stuff, not anything really. So you can sort of like that around.
But what if surrounding landowners sell the land?
They still, there's no city and sewer water, so to put up a big building, the infrastructure over here.
What would it take to put in city sewer and water? Okay.
You
You don't wanna ask
That's millions of dollars.
Okay.
Yeah.
That answers that question.
Taxes will go through the roof. Go ahead.
Can I just make a motion now?
Is there any other comments?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, we're gonna have a motion.
I would say nothing more than single-story quad homes based on sewer systems and all of that.
I second it.
Any well, okay, so quad, I think there was an issue with septics on quads. They won't
But I
work
think
because of
that-
the size of the lot.
But I think the motion is no bigger than that, so I mean, if that's what the motion is,
Okay.
whether or not they'll work or not is kind of irrelevant if that's the motion, it's just that's
Well,
what
I
it
don't
is.
wanna let anybody have this assumption that they
You
can put in
said
a quad.
depending on septic.
The other thing is anything that comes out of this
Who
meeting,
seconded it?
Is there a second?
Right.
Carol did, you seconded it, so, our suggestions, so, yep.
So
Okay,
we're giving you this information, and then you go back to the county and tell them what we've decided?
Tell them what the township does not want to do.
I'm on the steering
Pardon?
committee and I'm on the zoning committee.
Okay, so then, how will we be informed as to what's actually gonna happen?
They're gonna come out with a comprehensive plan. Greg, when's that?
well, I don't know when I don't know what's gonna be at the meeting. But it'll come out
next year,
later, huh?
be late next year.
Late next year, I think, so.
I mean, the motion you make today is still gonna be discussed upon the elected board, and they make the ultimate decision. So your best bet is to come to every meeting if you want to see that.
We already did the comprehensive plan, what we're doing is redoing the zoning plan within the comprehensive plan. You know, there's a comprehensive main plan, and there's a comprehensive plan for the roads, and there's a comprehensive park plan, that's all part of the big comprehensive plan, and it's a lot of plans. So,
But to your point, yes, it does come down to the board, but what the electorate wants is the heaviest weight we carry.
Right.
So, we have a motion. We're not gonna allow anything, you say quad, right?
I have a question. I can't hear well, so the hamlet is defined by boundaries of the township of Orrock?
No,
We.
she'll put the map back, there it is.
Is it
That's
within?
That's the hamlet.
That's the hamlet, so it's,
But that's a part of,
Orrock
it's a
Township.
part of Orrock County.
It's over there by the getaway bar.
It's privately
that's something I
owned.
didn't understand.
Yeah, it's privately owned, so it's not the township that owns it, that is residents that own it. But it's a
Right now,
small
that-
divine.
That's something real in the township?
Yep.
Okay, and how many acres total in property?
About 720 though.
720? All right.
The cornfield is the biggest open space, and you gotta cross the street, it's kind of that area.
Just a little over a square mile.
Mhm.
That little, the far right there where it starts to turn purple in the map, that's straight south of where we're at right now.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Do the residents and businesses currently within the hamlet have a say in what happens in the hamlet as well? Because they would be the most directly affected, or do they have to show up here basically?
They'd have to show up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to up here or the county.
They're not getting a special vote, if that's what you're asking.
What's that?
They're not getting a special vote,
Right,
if that's what
but,
you're asking.
and, yeah, 'cause I just don't know that, those individuals would actually be aware of what's potentially even change or could change around that.
Well, it's private property, so again,
Their zoning is changing.
the zoning, so you can build something.
Sure.
If
But they don't
have to, or the.
Fair enough.
The garage buys the neighbor, so nobody builds their food, that's his property.
it would make it easier for them to build another business inside this facility for the people that already own here, or to expand their current business, because it'll take some of those, I'll make sure I can be heard. It'll take some of the restrictions off that are currently there in this, in our current zoning. It would make it easier for those people to either expand their business or to build a new one. That's kind of the objective with this thing, is to make things easier within this limited space without driving businesses and, businesses or housing types into the 2.5 acre and 5 acre lots that we have. You know, we pretty much agree that we don't, there's some businesses we probably don't want in our neighborhoods, you know? So this, the hamlet provides a space for that kind of business to exist in the township.
What do you do if there's something there now already in an area that you define as a hamlet?
Well, if somebody buys something with a
Oh,
business
you
is
mean like
saying,
being grandfathered in with whatever zoning they have?
Okay.
They'd just be grandfathered in.
I mean, if somebody buys one of the, because there's a couple of empty buildings, or there's one empty building in the hamlet right now, I mean, if somebody buys that, they could choose to remodel it, or they could, you know, choose to tear it down, build something else, you know? It's just gonna make it a little bit easier to do those kind of things. That was the basic objective, you know?
Hamlet areas also drop speed limits because of the tightness of the driveways.
And that's why we're able to change the easement too. That's why those businesses can be closer to the road. It's not 55 there, it's 30.
Are there residential homes in the hamlet right now?
Yep.
So you would just build around them?
No, they have to sell their property.
No, all of this is privately owned land. We're not taking anybody's land.
No.
They're gonna own it, and if they sit on that 70, 80 acres and never sell it, that hamlet will never develop.
A big chunk of what's west of the road belongs to one family.
Yeah. They
And
all,
if they-
they
and
own
if-
almost the whole road.
And if they are, as long as they're, you know, happy with what they're doing there, nobody's gonna take it from them, you know? I mean, they would have to decide, we don't wanna do this anymore with our land, and they would have to sell it.
But,
You know,
but
for
what
those-
happens is if they decide to sell, and let's say I decide to buy it, I then, now that it's in a hamlet, don't have to go by general rural zoning. I have hamlet zoning, which means I can put them closer together, closer to the road, and what we just agreed upon, build a multi-unit facility no higher than this or no bigger than this. But now I can do that.
And right now, general rural is 2.5 acres
Minimum.
minimum to build a house.
And this would be
In the
much
hamlet,
smaller.
it could be smaller.
So some developer could come in and buy the 70 acres and just put up tons of quad
Detached
homes.
townhomes or whatever.
Absolutely.
Right next to each
They
other.
would have to go through the township to get there, so you can tell us what your opinion is.
Correct.
And within the limits that, as I already mentioned, that the septic system puts on it. You know, the big group septics like they have in Shores of Eagle Lake, that's not a thing anymore. They haven't worked out well, I think would be an understatement. So, and it's not something that they're doing anymore. So these would be, anything that would come in would kind of be somewhere in between what we have now and what you think of as being, I mean, we're not building Maple Grove. We're not gonna get another Shores of Eagle Lake. I mean, unless regulations change. You know, regulations can always change at state level or whatever, but right now, we're not gonna get something like that.
I have one question related to what my earlier statement about what I would recommend. When this passes, are any of these people penalized when it's rezoned, like we're not driving out farmers or?
No.
Okay, perfect.
Nothing.
Doesn't affect anybody,
Okay.
when they want to, allows them to if they want.
Okay,
It actually makes the property worth more money,
Mhm.
truthfully.
sure,
Actually, it does.
but I just, you know,
That's, I'm afraid that's not.
All right, so we have a motion from Steve back
Can
there,
you
right?
write the motion go as?
Yeah, you wanna restate your motion again?
I make a motion that it's single-story quad homes max.
I second it.
Well, it was seconded by,
Carol, you still second?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know we had to do it twice.
No, we're
We
not.
just had so much discussion, we went through
We're
it twice.
just trying to revisit it, make sure we all understand what we're doing.
we do it from the dais all the time.
Okay, so no more discussion here, we're going to vote on this?
I have one question. Good. What, if anything, do you think about limiting light industrial? Because there's always been talk of getting an industrial park in Orrock Township over the last 35 years. there's very little ground to put it on. Artisans is one of the last spots left.
I think we already have light industrial, correct, Greg?
Depends on how you define light industrial.
Yeah, that's what I mean, you know, like somebody wants to put in, say, a steel recycling yard.
I think that's actual industrial,
That's-
not light
yeah, that's
industrial.
not
light. That's
And
a-
we don't allow for industrial based on light.
You can put in some waste management type stuff in the townships, but it has to be on a bigger piece of property, under current zoning. You know, I guess you could put something in, you don't want that in the hamlet, but I don't see how anybody would put that in the hamlet, you don't have enough land for that in the first place.
I mean, we do
If
have
you're
some,
talking maybe a machine shop or.
We do have
Yeah,
some
machine shops you can do those
We
even
have
on,
Got embroidery, something like that.
we do have manufacturers, we do have machine shops that are run on.
there's guys fixing motorcycles, fixing snowmobiles.
Motorcycle shops.
And I think that's a perfect example though, Brian, is it's a machine shop, I don't think that's considered intrusive or anything, that's why it's.
You wouldn't even know it's there.
Exactly. You see 8 people parked there every day, that's it.
All right, we have a motion on the table. All in favor of that motion, maximum 1-story quad. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. So the board will be instructed to pass this on to the county. All right, is there anything, okay, we kind of jumped one here. I'm gonna take up the Sherburne County, Sherburne State.
That road report.
Never wrote down.
All right, road report. Mr. Owens. Mr. Owens is our road authority. So, come up here and stand up there. Okay. Go sit back.
Yeah.
All right, okay, here's our annual road report for 2026. The purpose of the report is to present a general summary of the road projects and maintenance activities completed in 2025. The goal is, as the goal of the township is to maintain the township roads such that they ensure the safety and welfare of our residents while balancing the relatively high cost of road maintenance. In general, the Orrock Township maintains 47 miles of roads, which are mostly covered in asphalt. Road inspections are conducted annually by the township supervisors, usually it's me and some of the road committee. 2025 road and bridge fund levy was $850,000. The actual levy receipts were $925,000. And then as you can see, all that other stuff. All them other little tidbits of stuff that has happened during the fiscal year, it's in the guys' packets. The 2025 total road expenditures was $549,000, including the 2025 road improvement overlay projects with a total cost, including engineering fees, was $386,000. Snow and ice control for 2025, which was January to December of 2025, was $57,000. Pothole, rut filling, and patching, sinkhole repairs for 2025 total $32,000. Tree trimming, brush trimming, and stump removal for 2025 was at $25,000. Culvert and basin cleaning was at $3,000. Ditch mowing was $13,000. Signs and installation was about $1,000. We're now tackling a West Eagle Lake project reconstruction, which is upcoming here this year in 2026. That project so far totaled $22,000. Preventative maintenance is the recommended action. While roads will inevitably need more expensive repairs at some point, delaying these expenses and keeping roads in good conditions is a best practice. 2025 road maintenance activities, tree trimming and removal, brush stump removals and grinding. Tree trimming, brush removal involves tree trimming tree branches, removing trees and stumps from the township right away. In general, our goal is to focus our trimming activities on oak trees during the winter to avoid the spread of oak wilt. and do trees such as elms, cottonwoods, etc. in the summer and or fall. The township continually conducts tree trimming removal activities that are prioritized based upon the risks to public safety. Culvert and basin cleaning, catch basin cleaning, including cleaning of curb inlets, drop inlets, grade inlets, and other drainage collection basins is performed routinely. Hole rut filling, patching, crack filling, sealing, patching are maintenance activities that are used to extend the life of asphalt pavement. Report of the overlay project, which the total cost for that was $386,000 excluding engineering fees. The projects were 253rd Avenue Northwest from County Road 5 to Prairie Edge Wildlife Drive, 180th Street from the cul-de-sac to 253rd Northwest, and then 190th Avenue Northwest from 247th Avenue Northwest to County Road 75. As you can see in the red circled areas is the projects that were done last year. The West Eagle Lake Improvement Plan for 2026. The red lines there are all the red lines are all the ones that are getting reconstructed and having asphalt done, which means widening the roads, doing all these other stuff. Culverts are going to be put in, curb and gutter, all that stuff. That project is going to happen on 232nd Avenue from County Road 75 to the corner of 188th Street. 188th Street Northwest to the corner of 234th Avenue. 234th Avenue to County Road 75. 189th Street to 234th Avenue. And then 189th Street to 232nd Avenue.
This entails basically taking the old street out and moving the base, so this is gonna be a major project.
Yep, we're ripping everything out
Everything's
and
coming out.
starting all over from scratch. And then building a whole new road underneath it.
What spec are you building the road to? 3 ton, 5 ton?
We're trying to, I think we're going to 7 ton.
How old is the current road?
Very old. Very old.
Say part of it is dirt.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. There's even still some of it back there that is, it has been gravel, and now we're paving it. Over the years, we've put down crushed asphalt to kind of help it out a little bit, but since we're in there doing all the work, there's only a little extra money to have it all paved and have it all redone.
Any questions about this? Okay, the next.
I have a question on the roads. How do you determine which roads get fixed?
Usually, doesn't the engineering firm usually goes out, and then we also do a spring road tour.
Pavement management plan.
And then we also have a pavement management plan that we go on with.
You can project on the road, what roads
Pretty much.
So
you
the-
have a-
Our pavement management plans is kind of, we're looking at 10 to 20 years ahead of time.
Yeah.
Kind of projecting in a crude way what's coming up, what monies we're gonna need to be spent.
Right, you have that plan so that when we're levying, we're looking at, we know what your estimated costs are to 5, 10 years down the road. In the meantime, though, our engineers with our road committee does go out and look at the roads and that it fell off the 10-year, 5-year plan, or we found a sinkhole or something happens, then we're trying to fix those things on the fly. But we do have a plan, it's not just, let's drive them today and see what we need to fix, no, this is something that's planned
So
out.
you know next year what's gonna happen the year after?
They're rated in
roughly?
percentages, yeah, so we know how old the roads are, we know what percentage they are, and we kind of know, obviously the more snow we have, the winter it gets, the more we plow, all those kinds of things have interest in how the roads fare, but yes, we do know what's coming, for the most part.
For the best part.
For the best part, we do know, yes.
All right. Now for our treasurer.
All right, so with the proposed levy that we had proposed this last month, we are recommending to have an increase in the levy to, for the general fund, moving it to 105,000, road and bridge to 900,000, fire to 150,000, and the capital, we are not increasing, proposed for this next year for 2027, with a total of $1,155,000, which is a 2.7% increase from 2026. And with that, the inflation rate and stuff like that is currently at like a 3.2%, and we were really trying our hardest to do no more than 3%. That was our goal as the board and stuff that way. And so when we went through that, we had to consider dipping into some of the savings and our fund equity and stuff that way too. So with the general fund, the road and bridge, and the fire fund, because of the increases due to the fire departments with the big lake and stuff like that, with theirs being an increase this next year or so, that has really made a big impact on our budget. And so with that, to cover that, and then with the West Eagle Lake road project with the road and bridge, that is another thing that we are also dipping into the road and bridge fund to kind of cover that expenses and stuff like that this year too. And you will note that a good portion of our, with the funds and stuff like that for the road and bridge, that is due to like the interest. So our interest that we've earned and stuff like that does help increase those funds and stuff that way too for us. So it's helping us so that we don't have to have as much of a increase for all of us as taxpayers. And so on here you can see with the levy history by each of the funds. You can see from the general fund where we've had like in 2024 it was a change of a 3.8%. And then last year we've actually decreased. It, didn't do anything for that general fund, and then this year we're moving it back up a little bit, but you can tell with those funds and stuff like that where we are taking a hit, and using it from like, from those funds, like the interest and what we got from 2025 was 70,000 of interest. The recycle, awarded funds there is what we've also brought in, which has also helped with that. You can see what we've kind of proposed and budgeted for our spending, for what we've got for next year, for even like the fire fund has increased for spending for next year, road and bridge. So with that, you can kind of tell, but we really tried our hardest to stay. And I know this is a difficult thing for everybody, because we don't want our taxes, of course, to go up. But this is something that we are trying to at least use the funds that we currently have in the savings and stuff like that for us to kind of wash that, so it's not like very high levy amount for us.
Kelly, could you explain, for an average house, or $300,000, how is their actual township taxes gonna increase or decrease based on this 2.9%?
Do you want to go back to that graph? Yeah. So this here is where with the levy based on your yeah. So that one there is based off of like your property value and tax analysis. And so with that one there, based off like a $300,000 home and stuff that way, for 2026, it was saying that it was like $500.77 for tax-wise. For upcoming with our increased levy, it's actually saying it's $499.
Theoretically, it's
So
going
it's going
down.
down.
And that's because of the increase in homes being built in our township.
Yep, So with the more, homes and stuff like that, it's spread out a little bit more between all of us. And so for that, even with that increase of the 2.7, it's not that big of a increase per household.
It's a decrease.
It's more of a decrease, and that's
It's actually a small decrease, they got 300.
Yep, so it's like a 0.3% decrease. Does anybody have any questions?
Okay, if there's no questions, then this is a place where the body has to approve this. The approval of the 2027 proposed tax levy. Especially item number 15. So do we have any questions about the levy? It's pretty clear, overall taxes should be the same or even a little less.
I have a question before we get into the
Name,
levy.
please.
Pat Flanagan, live on 25333, 167, annually.
Okay, go ahead.
The township and the Lake Association have been in discussions on some of the issues that we brought to the town board, I don't know, a few months ago, because of the issues that need to be addressed. And those discussions have gone on for a while, but now they're kind of slowed down, and we're hoping that they will get back discussing where we're headed and that to solve those issues. If you drive down there today, you'll see why there's some big issues between the parking lot, between the ramp and those. I know the township's been in some discussion with DNR to see if they would, I guess, take over the property, give them the property, and they can solve the problem, I guess. But I think we need to have additional discussion.
Okay, right now we're
Excuse me,
talking about the levy.
Pardon?
Let's first finish the levy part.
Well, but if there's issues that has to be taken care of down there, somewhere in the levy, the amount there has to be an output, is my understanding. If the ramp has to be done, if the parking lot has to be done, to me, from what I understand, it has to be a line item in the budget. It just can't come out of a fund
In
somewhere.
theory, that could fall under roads and bridges.
I don't know. If it can, I guess that's my question. Because it's going to have to be addressed somehow and resolved. And what is the answer at this point? I don't know, and I don't know if anybody does. But we need to continue the discussion. It's a beautiful lake.
Yeah.
We have to figure out how to resolve the issues that we have to take care of. I think as of today, we're approving the levy. We're not getting into the nitty-gritty of how the
We're not going to any line.
how the
item.
money is being spent. Right now, we're just allocating what we're, our levy. The details of how we budgeted it is something that the township has to deal with.
That's a totally different, it's an issue.
Okay,
I agree, it's an issue. But I think at this point here, we're just basically addressing what budget is the township gonna have.
Okay,
Within that
so-
budget,
The total dollar.
you can come and you can say, hey, I want to gold roads over there or something. That's something in discussion. Right now, we're just saying, this is what the bucket, this is the bucket the township has to work.
Okay.
What we do within that bucket, that's obviously can continue discussion.
From what I had read, it was my understanding that those buildings, some of those things had to be a line item, but they're saying, oh, if that's the case, then, fine.
It would be a line item under those buckets. Right now, you're just approving
Okay.
well, technically 4 large buckets, but capital is 0. So really 3 buckets.
Okay.
All right, any other discussions on the levy? Any other discussions on the levy? All right, hearing none, do we get approval to approve the levy as it's been presented?
So moved.
Do I get a second?
I'll second it.
Brian.
Right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved. Now you want to use the Sherman plan?
So we just have a quick little thing from the Sherman History Center asked us to reach out and let everybody know that they're going to be doing some updates and improvements on the History Museum. And if you have anything about your family, any unique ideas that would talk about the past of Orrock, they would like your input so that they can add that to their new presentations at the museum. And then, of course, they would like everybody to become members. And there's the information.
What they offer, what you can do, I don't know if everybody's been there, it's a nice place to have over there, a lot of information.
Yeah, if you have like special stories or heirlooms or something that you want to share with the history museum, then that's.
My understanding, there's gonna be a section for each township in the History Museum, which will be a rotating exhibit. So they will be able to share parts of your family, your history in this Orrock Township section. So if you wanna share your stuff, reach out.
They're trying to make it a more vibrant place.
Where
They're trying to have more, and there is the big question people keep coming up with. It's in Becker, off of Edgewood, but it's way down at the end of Residential Street, but it's right up next to the county park that's in that space. It's in that, down at the end of the
They have
street.
great events. There's snowshoeing in the winter, and, yeah.
So they've got stuff going on. They're trying to get the kids out there more often. There's some work that the mayor of Becker's doing with them to get the kids out there more often. And they want that display. The display has been the same display for a really long time. So they want to keep rotating stuff through there. So if you loan some of your family history artifacts, they're not keeping them. They're going to give them back to you, but they're just going to kind of try to create a much more vibrant space for that, for those things to come and go.
I think they have books and stuff in too.
Yeah, there's a lot of historical documents here.
All right, well, we kind of bounced around on this a little bit, but here's the time when if there's any other business, now's the time to express your opinions, your comments, your concerns.
Has it ever been explored to run one garbage company through the township rather than?
Oh, that is fighting words. That is fighting words.
Yeah, it is.
That was tried a number of years ago and it was shot down quickly.
I mean, if you have the township pay for it under a line item under roads and bridges, you're saving money on your roads by limiting.
No, they can fly.
Not gonna
Well,
fly.
you gotta remember though, now there's 10 carriers.
Yeah.
I know that's 20 trucks a week.
Yeah.
That are overweight, so.
Even cities where they tried to do that, it's been a huge disaster.
Well, yes, it has and it hasn't. Some cities it has, but some, it saves money if they do your whole neighborhood versus I seen one garbage truck going for one house.
But I worked for Republic, like, in a totally different manner, and in towns where they wouldn't did that, it was a nightmare.
Oh, was it? I'm just looking at the less carriers. Granted, I'm all for saving money, but on our road expense, spending $900,000 a year because they're breaking up the road, that's the whole thing I look at.
It's been tried, it's been brought up even in this township over the years, I remember that discussion.
Isn't Elk River one carrier?
Monticello is.
They tried it, I think, and it got waylaid.
No, Monticello's one here. I don't think Oak River is.
They tried.
They tried.
Failed.
The city I used to live in, they instead of doing one carrier, did 4 or 5, but it was zoned out. So
It
it's
was
only
zoned
one
regulated.
carrier in each area, so to your point, Harold, it's one truck, or every other week, 2 trucks.
Yeah.
But it's still, they're splitting the pie between all the different areas, that's how they use it.
No, I remember the show that went on last time it was mentioned. No, that was when there was 5, now it's 10 carriers. So, something to think about.
Is there any other information, questions, consternations, concerns?
One thing. Just to let everybody know, this is election season, so 4 of the positions, 3 supervisors and the treasurer are all up for election. So if you want to take your hand, give your hand at being one of us and doing it, it is August would be when you file, you can get more information from the clerk. My position is up, Brian's is up, Paul's is up, and the treasurer's is up. So, elections are, filed by August, elections are in November. If you're interested in joining us.
Who's gonna rerun?
$2. Then I don't know if anybody's announced their, I am announcing I am running for re-election. But I don't know about the rest of the people. So that would be something when they're ready, they will let you know.
After August.
Yep.
And I'll just kind of second what Pat had started talking about, I think as an association that we have a lot of concerns about that land possibly going to the DNR. You know, some of the things that we talk about is what's happened with the other campground, that it's become run down there. So we just want to make sure that we continue to have discussions about that.
We do have one scheduled, a meeting.
Yes, yep, I think,
Yep,
Steve put that
we do.
in there.
So if you continue.
You just fill me in, I have not been to the other meetings, can you tell me where you're at?
With, where we're at with
With the landing.
Yeah.
the landing. Nothing's changed since our last public meeting that we had about it.
And what was discussed then, if you could just tell me?
We're still deciding whether or who is going to manage the land. Whether we're going to give it to the DNR and let them do it, or whether Orrock Township is going to do it. We're still in discussions with the DNR.
Okay, so question with that, if that would be the case and if the township would take it over, wouldn't that affect our levy we just voted on?
Not really, not for this year. No.
It'd be a line item under the.
Be a line item under the budget.
It's a pretty minimal cost, if it did happen.
Relative to the budget.
Yeah, relative to $1.1 million, it's not a large item.
Go ahead, Sarah.
I remember at one of the meetings that was handled about the Lake Association, where, I believe, Ann, you said that you and somebody else from the board would get together with Steve, Cindy, and.
Yep, and we have.
But once, is that not correct? You met once, and then the next thing I knew, you wanted to gift it to the DNR. I don't understand that. Where was the discussion?
Well, one we canceled because of a snowstorm. So that was, we did have 2 planned in December. We hit the one, the second one was the big snowstorm. So we canceled. Then we had a January meeting, our board meeting, our reorganization.
Just the board?
That was just a reorg. Yeah, that's when the board gets back together for the first of the year. We reorganize the entire township.
Okay.
Everybody sits in their new roles, new committees are assigned, all of that happens.
Well, my question is why did all of a sudden it was being said that it's gonna be gifted to the DNR, when the DNR doesn't have any money? How would they keep it up? They don't even take care of the campground across the lake.
So I was asked to reach out to the DNR and see if this has been a long term with the DNR. This is not just because this came up. We've been looking at doing something with that land for a long time, and we never thought the DNR would be interested.
Well, who brought it up to you that you should contact the DNR?
We as a board said, hey, it's a landing, the DNR handles the landing at the other lake, would they be interested in doing this lake? Because they handle the landing at Eagle Lake.
There is no township in the state of Minnesota that's in the boat landing business
So
at this point in time.
Honestly, it
Other
was
than
like,
us.
we was tasked with, hey, would they be interested?
And I don't think a decision was made ever to give it to the DNR.
No.
The decision was Pam should reach out to the DNR to see is it an option, so we know how many options are on our.
And then when I did reach out to the DNR, they said, well, I'll get back to you. And that was in December. Early January, I get a call, yes, by the way, yes, we are actually quite interested, which shocked, quite honestly, our entire board. We didn't think that was going to be the answer that we got, but we wanted to run through all the options. But the answer we got was, yeah, we are, we're very interested.
I think what,
But it also came up, really with the DNR, was when we looked at the deed. And the deed listed the DNR as well as the township. And there was some question about if it automatically would go back to the DNR. And we checked with our attorneys and we've done those, some of those
Correct.
things with it.
So we
So
have
that's where
been,
the discussion
we
of the
have
DNR
been,
really popped up.
we have been and are still under contract with the DNR from 1999. We have a signed contract with the DNR. And so one of the other reasons that we called the DNR was, hey, we have this contract. If we do things with the Lake Association, does that violate it? If we take it over and start to work on it ourselves, are we violating it? What if we can't? What if, I said, what if we just ran out of money and we couldn't do it? I mean, what would happen? We have a contract with you guys, and they're like, nothing would happen, honestly.
I think the confusion for us lies in the fact that we had our meeting in December. We didn't have another meeting. The next thing we hear publicly from your forum is they're in talks with the DNR. And we were not told about that, we didn't know about that. We and Lake Association have maintained that landing at no cost to Orrock Township or the taxpayers for 50+ years. So the township has never done anything down there as far as paying. So I think we're confused in, we were gonna have this back and forth discussion, and then it just stopped. I mean, I do realize we just scheduled another meeting today for the future in March.
I think part of what the confusion might be is that we have to do everything publicly, right, as a board. We can't go and have 3 of us get together and sit down and just chat about something. Well, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna fix this? That's why only 2 of us are meeting with you guys, because we can't have 3, right? That's an open meeting violation, right? So if I'm tasked with finding out what's the status of this contract with the DNR, what is the status of if we violated that contract, what would happen, that all has to be done here.
Right.
Which is why you hear it here. Right? That's it. That is literally it, so that I'm not violating any, and when I had those conversations with the DNR and we talked about the landing, they're like, yeah, we'd be interested in taking it. I'm not gonna withhold that information for the sake of withholding it. I'm gonna put it out in a public.
But I think we're a little frustrated also because we have done it for so long and
No
never.
decisions have been made, but I think that everybody wanted all information out. That was it. No decisions have been made. We have easement problems with that landing anyway, because our easement is inside of the land of that. So if we were to give it away, we'd have to do some stuff anyway. So there's a lot of problems with it anyway. We've had those discussions. So we're far from making an absolute decision at this point.
Can I ask a question? Not knowing the situation over
Yeah.
there, if it's been maintained by the Lake Association for 50 years, why isn't it continuing?
Because we are running out of money, because we collect dues, $25 per family, and we also treat the lake for invasive species, which run us between $2,000 and $3,000 a year. We're paying at the landing, we're paying the lights, the garbage, the grading, putting the planks in, mowing the lawn, weed whipping, signs. We've been doing all of that, and we're running out of money.
Got it.
So we came to the township initially to say, we need help with your landing. And here we are.
And it sounds like, so the landing is Orrock Township and the DNR deeded, technically.
Technically, I don't know where the
Well,
DNR came in.
it's
Actually, it's really.
it's ours, but the DNR initially put the initial work into creating
Okay.
the land. 1999.
Well, the DNR
So they did the
donated
initial
the-
concretes. They did the
They-
initials.
That's what they did.
They
That's
did
what the
the
DNR, the
initials.
only thing they did down there was
So,
donate those planks.
Right.
Yes, which are a mess right now.
So, and most landings, there are no other townships that are in the landing business. So we don't have anything to go by. Everything is DNR owned. And so we're making some decisions if we want to be in the landing business. It's not me, it's the entire board that are making decisions if we want to be in the landing business or not. there's issues of liability, there's issues of insurance, there's issues of a whole bunch of things. And quite honestly, if it's a landing, do we do a traffic study? How many people from Orrock actually use it? That don't live on the lake, or more use it Eagle Lake, we don't know, is it worth it? I don't think so, I don't think it's worth doing a study on it, but my point is that of 3,800 people, which was our population, do 3,800 people use it? I don't know. We don't know. So those are budgetary decisions that we are all weighing. It's a very beautiful lake. Having access is important. We all agree on that as a board. How that access is maintained is where the discussions are still happening.
And you had said there's two options, you're either in the landing business or DNR takes it over, but there is a third option, which we had thought that's where their discussions were going, is we continue to do what we're doing and somehow get assistance financially.
Well, when we talk to our lawyers, and this is more for our conversation later.
And that's
we'll
fine,
end it
I
here,
just,
but there are some issues with, into being not using our contractors for liability and insurance purposes.
Which is interesting, because for
So-
50 years, you guys didn't even know you owned the land.
No, we knew it, we just weren't doing anything about it.
So liability wasn't a concern last year, but,
Well, I mean, it's always been a concern, but we weren't, we had a contract at that point with you guys, assuming all liability. So we were waived out of it. We do have tort coverage as
And we
well.
could have the same contract again, couldn't
Right, can't the residents of Ann Lake have a determination in that since we live on the lake and have maintained it as a lake association ourselves?
And a determination about what?
Well, I feel like what I'm hearing you say is that that's your decision, not the people that live on the lake's decision.
So we can't sell it to an individual or an association. So right off the bat, we asked our attorney, can we sell it to the association? No, we cannot. So we can't do that. It has to be publicly accessible at all
we? But
times.
you can renew the contract with the association, can't you?
Yes.
Right, but we're talking about you wanting payment from us to do it.
Or just paying for the lights, or paying for the garbage, not a.
You're asking 3,800 people to.
Well, I think our board did address the lights, our board did address the lights, the garbage, individuals, and things at one of our meetings, did we not? Yes.
Garbage for sure.
Garbage for sure, and lights and some other things. So that was presented to the board at one of the meetings. It was, I can't
And
tell you
whatever
what.
those terms are, it doesn't matter. A contract can still be negotiated and discussed to redo one with the association.
If the board wants to go in
If
that
the board
direction.
wants to, yes.
Yes,
the board meeting the five of you.
correct. If the board wants to go in that direction. Yes, and we will do what the board wants to do as a vote of 5. So we will bring, but we want all options. Bring us let's work on a contract. Let's bring it to the board. DNR wants to take the land, we'll bring it to the board. Bring all those things to the board, and then the board will decide which of those options that they want to.
So we bring it to the board or to the meeting?
No,
We're gonna have a meeting
we're meeting with your committee.
with your committee to kind of, let you know that, because sometimes there's some parameters that we can't cross. And that we want to share with you guys without the whole world, you know what I mean? To say, you want us to do this, we can do that. You can't do this. We have some stuff from our lawyers. Knock out that, we bring it to the board, the DNR will have their proposal, we'll bring it to the board, and the board will make a decision.
Can you tell, who's the contact at the DNR that you're working with?
You have the letter, Tim. Yeah. He sent us a letter, confirming his, interest in the
I'll
land.
send it to you, Steve.
Yes.
He manages the landing.
He manages the landings,
Okay, so
and
we
he
can,
was in charge of the contracts. He's the contract guy. So, that's how I got a hold of him. But I don't think there's anybody, I'm not sure that anybody has definitely put their foot down on anything.
right, we're just feeling that we feel like we need to have a voice. It's not between you and the it seems like we're shut out now, and it's just you guys.
Well, I think the
and DNR.
negotiations between us and the DNR, quite honestly, between us and the DNR. What we bring to the board becomes, yes, absolutely part of all of your input as to what that is. just as you guys have your, inside your association and what you would like, you don't need to bring that to us until you're ready. Unfortunately, everything we do is public, and I have to bring it in pieces. And that's where it gets frustrating, as you hear the pieces coming in, instead of one big proposal. Because I can't just hide it. That's not, that would be difficult.
In my mind, I would do what she was saying, that we've been doing it, I guess, for 50 years, and if it's just as simple as renewing whatever contract there might have been, we're new to Amway, but that's why I was asking, you know, what's been happening.
Yeah, we never had a problem with the contract.
Right, but-
We didn't come to the association.
Okay, but what
So-
I'm saying is, to me, it's like, that seems like the simplest, just all we're asking for is additional money to pay for stuff that the public, the whole township and everyone
And
else
that
has
is
to
what the
use.
board has to decide,
But
okay?
as soon as the board, as soon as the government officially puts money into it, it changes the level
Of liability.
liability.
and
This is, it's an attorney thing, I mean, to really get a good explanation of it. But as soon as the township, as in all of us, not the board, and all of us put money into that rather than being a separate maintenance contract by a individual organization that has its own liability insurance, it increases the liability for the township. It changes the parameters of how the township's liability. And with everything in government, it's liability and what is this gonna do and how much are we spending?
So we didn't have any of
Is
that
there,
liability.
is there a way then that the Lake Ann Association can charge for people to use the lake,
No, you
and that we
cannot.
can meet, you know, make those bills paid for?
You can't, it's because the land is public land. The actual access is public land.
If you charge for people to go there, if the liability changes once again.
Well, the original deed was for public use forever.
It's a public use forever deed. It actually says forever. So, we can't, like I said, we thought about, could we sell it to you
So
guys?
then what if we quit paying for the garbage disposal, then it just kind of gets all over and it just takes over the whole land?
Think the neighbors would like that?
I mean, those are things that could be a consequence, and then.
Then we
either
call
the-
you?
And either the township would have to take care of it, or if the DNR owned it, then they would have to take care of it. But yes, it would fall to us until we figure out who owns it. I mean, not who owns it. Well, right now we do, but if it did get
Maybe
deeded
we
over to the
should gift
DNR.
it to Ann Lake
We can't.
Association.
We can't, you're a private entity, I tried, I called our lawyers about it, and I asked that
Because
specific
didn't
question.
the original guy who owned it, he gifted it to,
Orrock Township.
Orrock Township forever. Orrock Township for public use forever.
Yeah, so I did ask if we could sell it to you or deed it to you, and we were told no.
And I think that was the only thing we put our foot down on, is we want permanent, keep it open, we do not want to barricade it even in the winter. It's permanently staying open.
Right, we will not have any restrictions.
So
We
if it
can't.
went to you.
Well, we can't, actually, the DNR only wants it, the DNR contract says
Says
it
you
has to be
can't.
open a certain amount of hours.
Yeah.
We
So
want to
if
open it
that-
24 hours.
If the township took it over, or if the DNR took it over, would they maintain the weed control then also, like what we're doing now, or would it just fill up?
Our interest goes to the line of the water.
Are you asking mowing or the weeds in the lake?
I'm talking about the weeds in the lake. 'cause
No,
it's a
ours
beautiful
is
lake
to
right
the-
now.
That's on
Ours is
us
to
till we run out
water.
of money, which will be next year.
Okay, but I mean, so then if they took it over, then nothing would be.
The water line, so
If we
everything.
didn't have the, if we couldn't get the money, then we would have to stop treating.
they would be to the
They-
water line, and
and
DNR right now is the lake. And the DNR has no money, we applied for grants and we didn't get it.
And we take the water line,
So that will change the lake then, my question, I guess.
Eagle Lake, the association there.
well, we've
all-
never been in charge of the water.
No, I'm just asking who.
Oh, yeah.
would-
Even mowing.
would-
DNR's always been in charge of the water.
Okay,
That's
but-
what-
But if they don't have any money, then the lake will change.
That's why most of the lakes have lake associations and a lot of them have lids.
Lid,
Have a lid, which is an organization you can set up that allows you to
called the Lake
collect,
Improvement District.
collect funding. Lake Improvement District, I mean, that's how Eagle Lake is trying to get its funding to
Worked really
keep
hard
its,
on it.
to keep its weed control underward. The lakes up in Palmer Township, they have a lid.
Orono
Lake
has one.
Orono has a lid.
It
All
kinda
these-
sounds like our association, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's an association, but they only,
But they levy taxes.
they take care of the lake itself, and the DNR owns all the landings.
But our percentage of people who live on the lake full-time is very, very small.
It would, yeah, but
Right.
that would be the one way to guarantee it. A solution for tax money, if township that
Right.
want all go in to support one lake that they don't use would be to do a lid.
And especially the water.
Just the people that have access
And it's
would pay
not,
the higher taxes. And you get to decide that, you would have an annual meeting just like we have here.
A lid has its own board. A lid has its own
I
stuff.
don't think a
And
lid
the township, under no circumstances, anywhere, has ever owned any of the water.
No.
So we've never been in the water, nobody is, the DNR owns all of that water. So the lid is the way that you guys wanna treat the lake, how you want it to be done, and it's done by the association, and lids are done through the county, and it goes on the tax rolls.
If the
It's a way
DNR
of
had it,
course,
they might
but
bring in
it's
the
not
beetles.
based on the value of
To
property.
eat the loose
It's a
tribe?
membership.
It's a way.
I live on Big Eagle Lake, okay? I help organize the lid there. A lot of those people don't live there year round, most, and we basically designated all the way around the lake that you could live physically on the lake as far as ownership of the property, okay? We pay $250 a year, each person. Whether you have 3 different parcels or 1 parcel, it's the same amount. Shores of Eagle Lake has one payment, $250. They only have 1 vote, just like each member has 1 vote. That's one of the ways that we did that. We went around and actually went to every property owner and discussed it with them and explained to them what we're using the money for is to manage the weed treatments and things like that. So that's a way, and it ends up, you write it up, the contract and that, and the county then approves it, and we have a 5-member board, and that's how that's going. Now, the Levy Improvement Association is still operating, and our membership fees are at $35. But then we go out and have fundraisers. Okay, and that saves us. And then we assist the lid with funds, as long as we, all we have to be very honest, I've said this to the membership because I'm president of the group this year, is that we tell them, we're gonna assist you the best of our financial ability, but all we gotta do is have one bad, rainy, pulled pork day, and we're done being able to assist that given year. Because that is our big fundraiser.
Now, I do understand that we've discussed the lid with, and it didn't feel like you could get the support from the people around the lake. Was what we heard back in the communication, that would never go, would never be it'd be a no-go, that the Ann Lake Association would not go for it. So, again, we're not gonna treat the water. And I think if we're talking about the landing only. The rest of the land all around the lake is privately owned, except for one section up here at the top by the,
So they would be in charge of
so,
electricity, they would get our building.
but if the landowners around the lake want to get together and do something for that's up to you guys.
And the mowing, and the lights, the trash.
But everything's on the table. Everything's on the table. We have not agreed or voted on any one thing yet, except that we want to keep it open and we don't want to restrict hours. Those are the 2 things that we absolutely voted on as a board. We want it open and we don't want to have restrictive hours.
So, and I don't even know if you can answer this question, does the DNR treat lakes in this area, or they're not running, I mean, we just moved
No.
it?
The Lake Association would have to apply for a grant for their assistance, but they won't actually go out to it themselves. You're hiring a third source or the RJ, we have somebody.
No, the Lake Association,
No.
Lake Association, DNR will not personally do it.
And there's small grants that come, through the county, very small grants, but
And that's not unique to Ann
they just
Lake,
start doing
but
pretty leaf.
it's not treated by the
Doing
DNR, that's
milfoil.
not unique.
And there's a couple others there on educating to have people at the ramp educate people about making sure they, pull plugs on their bolts and stuff like that. They're small grants, but you're right, Brett.
But no, there's not. So they are, the burden falls upon the
We
people
do
who
that.
live on the lake.
I think Steve mentioned they apply grant to those.
Yeah. And that, like I said, it's not unique to Eagle, and it's not unique to Ann, or it's not unique to any of the lakes in the area. So, no. Anything else?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What does the DNR do at your landing?
What
You
land?
said
What?
the Eagle Lake landing.
Well, I mean, they actually put the document out there. They actually do, they do the porta potty, right?
They fill in the hole.
They fill in the holes, they do the porta potty.
They have the guards there.
They do have the guys that stand there and check them
Yeah.
for the milfoil and all of that,
Yeah.
they have that there. They do put some of the signage up with the regulations that change.
They maintain the land.
They maintain the landing area. Which is why we're in discussions to see.
Yeah.
Differences with Ann Lake, this is, our property piece at Ann Lake is much larger. Or much more grass.
Oh, I was gonna say, Ann Lake is a small lake.
No, but I mean, our landing, our piece of land has a lot of grassy area there versus what's at Eagle Lake. That little sliver that the DNR owns there is mostly dirt or driveway.
Well, I drove over there, and when you pull in,
That's a whole nother mess. We're not playing that. That's Sherburne County, that's it. So. That's not
Land
good.
rights, I mean, that's another guy claiming some land, so.
Yeah, that's a whole,
another
that's a
completion.
That was a
No, we're not,
mistake
no,
that
no,
was
no,
made
no,
a
we're
long
not
time
doing
ago.
it. We're not doing it.
Surveying
I saw
mistake.
a
Yeah, it's a
long
disaster
area
zone.
that was open, both
Disaster zones.
Okay,
But
any
yes.
other questions?
Any other questions?
Any other questions, business, anything? Okay, we're gonna move on. The next is time, okay, so the meeting, this meeting has to occur every year. It's the second Tuesday of March, basically, so the next year's date will be March the 9th, 2027, time to be determined. Usually they start about 7-ish. Is it more of an announcement? Any other announcements?
Yes.
Go
The
ahead.
Board of Bill Equalization meeting is April 8th at 6 p.m.
If you have tax issues, that's when you come here, and the county will be here, their tax people will be here, you can ask questions, you can appeal, you can hear what they have to say, that's your opportunity.
And there's a video that I put on the website that explains more about the procedure and what they're going to do and any questions that you might want to ask. The annual recycle day this year is May 16th, and I put some printouts over there for more information if you guys want to see the prices and stuff. It will be held at the maintenance building as it usually is. And our regular township board meetings are the fourth Wednesday of every month, except for November and December, and then it will be the third Wednesday.
That's our announcements. Down to 18, so we get a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you all for
Very small, private land.